Hi and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. Hey, here's that other video I was promising you guys about. Some of the other little things I just wanted to mention. Once I put these, transplanted these pumpkin plants out into the garden, I immediately put them under protection. And I did so because before I transplanted them out, when they were just sitting in pots in the yard, I looked at all my plants and everything and saw that they had already been visited by the squash vine borer moth, laying their singular flat disc looking reddish brown colored eggs. Now they usually generally drop one here and then they may drop another one over there and all that kind of stuff, but they're not clustered together. Okay, they're generally just a single egg, and there could be more than one on your plant from the same moth, but they're not going to be clustered together, unlike a different bug I'll talk about in a minute. But the squash vine borer moth had been laying his eggs all over, so I had to clean all of them off, and then I started transplanting gradually over the past week or so. And the ones that I just didn't have time to get out at that time, I just covered them up sitting in the yard too. They were still in the pots. And so they are under protection. Now eventually, of course, the vines are going to come out from under this material, and there's not a darn thing I can do about that. And I won't be able to protect that portion of the pumpkin plant. Now the oh, I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about keeping these material. This the light stuff that you see in front of you is tulle. Same thing right here. That's tulle. Is what they make the wedding veil out of. And the white heavier stuff down there, that's just some fabric I ordered off of eBay. It's heavier, but it does a good job of protecting the plants as well. Also, that kind of acts like a little bit of a shade cloth, and it keeps it cooler for the plants. Now, what happens, I'm thinking of leaving that stuff on because the vine borer moth likes to lay eggs near the base of the plant, and then if they hatch and dig into your plant, they're going to grow and eat from the inside out, and they will kill your plant pretty quickly. So I might leave that on, but I won't be able to protect the vines that come out. And a couple other pests that like to attack these plants are cucumber beetles. The ones I've seen in my area typically are black with yellow spots or yellow stripes on them, or they could be green, black with green stripes or green dots on them. And they transmit diseases too. They are a little smaller bug, and they tend to fly away, so it's a little bit harder to get. But one of the other main culprits is the squash bug. Now, their eggs look pretty similar to the vine borer moth, squash vine moth. But squash vine borer moth lays a singular egg here and there and all that stuff. But the squash bug lays a cluster of eggs, generally under the bottom of the leaves. And they are reddish and brown in color, as well as the same color as the squash vine borer moth egg, but different shape. The vine borer moths are more like flat, like a flying saucer, a disc if you will, reddish brown in color. Squash bug eggs are reddish brown in color, but they are kind of more football shaped, and they're laid in clusters, 8 to 18 perhaps. And it's a good thing that I was covering these things, because yesterday I came out here and I saw 3 squash bugs, probably all females, trying to lay eggs. In fact, I saw one of them had eggs on its back. So I got rid of those and found that they had laid some eggs on the tool material, and because some of the leaves are resting right up against the tool material. And so they would lay their eggs on the tool material, and in hopes that some of them would actually push through, and some of them did, into the top of the leaves itself. Now, of course, they can't get to the bottom of the leaves, otherwise it would generally lay the eggs under the bottom of the leaf. But it's trying to lay them where they can. So I cleaned those eggs off, went underneath and cleaned the eggs off of the leaf and everything. And then I come out here today with my sons, and we come out here and we go squash bug hunting. While we can, because these plants are not that huge right now, we can still move around in here and not damage plants or, you know, get pricked by some of the pricklies on the pumpkin plants. But within like 40 seconds or so, 30-40 seconds, found them. Yep, here's another one. And so I disposed of those, found a little bit more eggs, and got rid of those, and even found some nymphs, NYPHS. Those are baby squash bug eggs, squash bugs. They have black legs, and they kind of a little white, ghostly looking coloring to them. And they're small, of course. So a little bit of soapy water in a spray bottle is all I do to kill not only the nymphs, but the adult squash bugs as well. So did all that kind of stuff. So for right now, we're okay. There'll be more, and they're going to keep on coming. And eventually, like I said, I'm not going to be able to protect these vines once they push out from under the material. And so I will resort to my spraying methods, organic sprays, where I will be using neem oil, BT, and spinosad, along with dish soap, to make a concoction that generally will cover most bugs. Okay, so that generally does pretty good for me. Now, in that neem oil, the main ingredient in the neem oil is azadirachtin, and the neem tree is over in India, so they press the, I guess, the seed pods, if you will, and they get the oil out of it, and so that's used to protect the plants. Now, you got to be careful with that. It's when it's like 85 degrees or higher, it's very phototoxic. You'll burn your plants if you're not careful. Lord knows I've done that a number of times. So you do so I use all that stuff. But what else? My other plan of attack on these things is one, to keep you have to have good soil, and I have a couple things coming in, some Dr. Earth liquid fertilizer, and for the first time I'm going to be using some seaweed. I have some super seaweed that I'm going to be using, and to help my plants be healthy and strong, to help them fight against pests and diseases. And I also have something coming in there in the mail called Azazole, and that is a water soluble formula of the main ingredient in the neem tree, or in neem oil, azadirachtin. So they were able to put it in oil form, and they're able to put it in a powder, water soluble form. And the water soluble form is more expensive, of course, but I like it because you can just water it into the root zone or spray it on your plants, and you don't have to worry about burning your leaves. Okay, and it's, like I said, it's the main ingredient in the neem oil, so that's your main thing that's fighting off the pests in the first place. Okay, so and I could put that in my fertigation tank, and I'll do a separate video on that. And when I have one in the past that I did a video on when I first got the fertigation tank. And basically a fertigation tank is a 1 gallon, or I think you can buy them at half-gallon size capacities, and you put liquid fertilizers or any other water soluble substance in your irrigation system that you have, and it'll send the liquid fertilizer or any other water soluble substance out into your plants at the root zone, wherever your drip lines or emitters are. So I'll be doing all of that stuff to try to protect these plants as much as I can. Some of these plants will be climbing up this trellis at some point in time here, not just the ones here, but some of the other plants, to try to contain them in this area. But I am sure at some point in time the plants are going to end up being outside of the garden and into the grass, and at that point there's not a lot I'm going to be able to do with that. I'll just mow around them and just let it go. Alright, so from Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. And thank you guys. Y'all have a great day. Bye.